All right, so time again, time for the Sunday video. And I'm thinking part 2 of my favorite knives of 2025 and toss in some updates as well. Let's get to it. And we got the wind kicking up, but here we are, we're back in the woods. Hopefully this microphone will work and you can hear me. Today's gonna be, just like the title says, not an overnighter. It's gonna be part 2 of my favorite knives of 2025. We're gonna toss in some updates and we're gonna talk about basically what's been going on. And along with that, we're going to mention briefly, I'll show you a couple pictures here in a few minutes, that we're doing a Corporals Corner surplus gear dump onto the Etsy store and hopefully sell all of it. It's extra gear that I've either never used or I've slightly or used very little to the point where it's basically brand new. And it's been sitting there for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, some of them even 10 years, and just sitting there looking at me, and I need to get rid of it. So all these things are going to transpire in this video. Those that watch, I appreciate it. Because ultimately the ones that watch reap the benefits. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit here and pull each item out and show it to you and talk about it and give specs and stats and all that. There's no point in doing that. All that gear in that bin will be released at the end of this video into my Etsy store. I'll do my best to get those out this week along with the skillets. Now on that note, before we get too far down the trail, once again, the Etsy store is open. The Etsy store is open. And what do we have today? We have the infamous and my personal favorite, the Corporals Corner cold handle skillet. Followed by the Corporals Corner folding cold handle skillet. Check out that action. This is a space saver from hell. Will fit inside any military butt pack, haversack, small backpack. Just toss it in there. The handle folds over just like that. Well used, nice and blackened. Treat it like cast iron. Leave the grease in it, just wipe it down. And it's there when you need it. And last but not least, we have the Corporals Corner Frontier Skillet. We have a welded pipe nub with a 1/4-inch hole drilled at the top for a threaded wing nut. Simply place a stick inside there, tighten it down. Once you're done, loosen it, pull that stick out, toss it into the woods, and pack it away. Another space saver from hell. Now, I've been saying this for the past couple weeks. In about 2 weeks, we're going to do away with these two skillets. They're going to be discontinued to make room for something else. So if you want the Corporals Corner cold handle skillet or the Corporals Corner folding cold handle skillet, grab them now. Once again, my Etsy store link is in my video description box. Click on it and get her done. All right, so I wanted to get that out of the way first. For those that are gear junkies and want to jump on it and grab the gear before it's gone, I want to give you a chance to do that. Those that want the skillets, I also want you to get a chance to be able to jump in there and grab those skillets. They average between 38 minutes and 3 hours and they're gone. So I load them once a week for those that watch the videos. I want to address that really quick. It's part of the updates. Here's how this works, and I've been saying this for several months. Any gear that I make or I sell, I'm going to offer it to those who support my channel first. First time, every time. So if you're watching my channel at 10 a.m. Eastern when the videos have dropped every Sunday for 5 years, you've supported me for 5+ years, you're watching every Sunday video, and you want that gear, I'm going to give you a chance to get that gear. If my channel is a take it or leave it, well, I'll watch it on a Thursday. Don't come to me on Thursday demanding that I put extra skillets in there so you can get them on Thursday. YouTube circulates the videos for 30 minutes to 1 hour. Then they pull it from the feed and they cast you aside. So those that support my channel and keep my channel moving, I want to make sure you get that gear first. Now, along with getting rid of this gear, I want it gone for a second reason is my dad has been going through chemo for stage 4 cancer, lung cancer, you know, one of those benefits of smoking for 40 years, and then even though you quit for 30 years, guess what? It's still going to get you. I'm not asking for no money, and I'm not doing a GoFundMe. My dad found that out. He's like 10 times worse than me, and even though he's gotten, you know, chemo, he probably kicked my ass because that's the way that he is. So selling the gear, I'm going to toss the money to him and say, here you go, Pops, you know, get some treatments. So that's where I'm looking at doing right now with that stuff. So it's not going in my pocket, it's going to my dad. And those that buy it, I appreciate it. Now, with that said, let's move on to the knives. Now, last time we showed some pocket knives and some full tang knives. I want to show one of the pocket knives again because there's a discontinued model that's still one of my favorites. On that note, let's get started. In part one of my favorite knives of 2025, we talked about this pocket knife right here, the Victorinox Ranger Grip 78. And I went over it in great detail, so I won't do that again. I wanted to show you this because this one is actually the one that replaced the Swiss Army knife non-serrated one-handed trekker. And I used that one in my videos, I want to say from like 2014-ish, all the way until this one here came out. And I'm a firm believer, I can't confirm this, but I'm a firm believer that the reason why they discontinued that model was because they wanted you to buy this one right here. Obviously, it's more expensive, it's bigger, and the intent was, because there's intent behind everything, you have a larger saw and a larger blade. Therefore, you can do larger, more like robust bushcrafting tasks. Now, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, mostly people want to sell you something. They do things like, well, I have this, but I'm going to make it a little bit larger, and then you need this, and then you need that. And the intent behind this was to replace the need for carrying a pocket saw. If you're carrying a pocket knife with a tiny saw on it, you're very limited to what you can do with that. And some of these are so small, like the crappy saws on, say, a Leatherman or a Gerber, it's almost impossible to actually use that correctly, and you want to go to something like this or a pocket saw. Do you really need to carry a pocket saw and a knife this large with a saw blade this large? My answer is going to be no. I'm going to scale up to something larger like a Baco Laplander because this way I can cut 2-inch pieces with this one, and then that one I can cut 4-inch pieces. See how that works? So on that note, I'm going to put this away and we're going to talk about the Swiss Army knife one-handed trekker. We have the one-handed blade. It can be opened up on your right hand or with your left hand. Simply moving that lever there in the center collapses the blade. We have a saw on here, and like I already mentioned, it's probably just slightly smaller than this one right here. And to be honest, looking at that, it's about a 1/2 inch. Downside to every one of these knives is they don't make it to where the saw blade actually locks. And I wish that they did, but they won't do it. We have a screwdriver on here. We have a can opener, bottle opener. We have a Phillips head screwdriver, and we have an awl, then your classic toothpick and tweezers. Now, with that being said, this is an excellent knife, and I carried it for several years. But I scaled up the minute I saw this, because once again, it eliminates a need to carry a pocket saw. Carrying 20 different saws, to my opinion, is the same as people that have a backpack, and you got 10 pouches on that backpack that are all, either put on there with clips or that nylon webbing. And it's like, if you have to put 10 pouches on a pack, buy a larger pack. Other than a size difference by roughly a little more than a 1/2 inch on your saw blade and main blade, these two pocket knives appear to be the same. But upon close inspection, they did an old switcheroo. This one right here, your bottle opener, is in the rear versus the front. Same with your screwdriver. Your awl and Phillips head screwdriver were swapped out as well. Now I'm going to keep referencing that first video. If you haven't watched it, go back and check it out. Here's what the thumbnail looks like right here. We talked about a good, healthy competition would be the Mora Bushcraft Black. And that one goes for around $35 to $60, depending on the sheath options, meaning there's built-in fire steel, fire strikers, there's leather sheath that you can buy, things like that. Just keeping it basic like this, probably about $39 and change. And for what it is, in my opinion, probably one of the cheapest and best bushcraft knives that you can buy. And it has the Mora name on it. And that's one reason why. They guarantee their products. And I have yet to see one Well, I've seen them fail, but I have yet to see one where it has a bad review written about it, where somebody's just like, this is a piece of junk. Well, then you show me one that's going to beat it, because for something like this, it's been beat on with, batons, splits wood, does everything it's supposed to do, and it still works. And I've had this thing for probably 7 or 8 years, and you just strop it with a leather strop, and you're back in the game. You can't beat this. Carbon steel, got that Scandi grind, rubberized handle, and it just fits perfectly in there, and you can get everything you want done with it. It's beautiful. And now we're going to take a trip down memory lane. Those that are my age and older that served in the armed forces, well, let's rephrase that. I have no idea if the Navy had this or the Air Force. I know the Army and Marine Corps did. And they came about right around Vietnam era and right after that. And that is the M7 bayonet. Now, I said this is knives. People say, that's a bayonet. That's not a knife. Correct and wrong, okay? So, yes, the primary intent behind this was a bayonet. You have this circle right here that actually the barrel of the weapon, either the M16A1 or A2, would slide in there, and there's your barrel. On the back side, there's a small nub right here with 2 levers that are spring-loaded. That would clip onto the back side of the barrel. The barrel would go through here like this. So you could shoot, and then at the end, you could take your rifle and you could actually stab with it or slice, okay? And we have 2 blades on this thing. One at the top right here, you have your 90-degree spine right there, and your blade at the bottom. Here's your sheath right here. These 2 metal clips would go into the web belt on your 782 deuce gear. Lock it in place right there. There's your US M8A1. Now looking at this closely, in order to tell you have an authentic one, right here it says US M7. There's also a 7 right there. Now the tang passes through these handles, but it's hollowed out. And there's your matching handles. That's 6'8", there's 6'9", 5, and 6. When I was in the mid-90s, it was actually against the Geneva Convention to actually sharpen these things up. And when you think about it, that makes 0 sense whatsoever, okay? The reason why is because if you had to attach this to your weapon and you had to actually go out there and slice with the weapon or stab, we had something called line training. Now you got this Marine Corps martial arts stuff, and it's cool, but it's not. I mean, it teaches you basic movements to injure somebody, get them away from you, and in a way, it's cool. But back in the day, what they had for years was line training. The point of this narrow blade was so that you can stab into somebody. Now think about this. Even in my day and in Vietnam, they had Kevlar. The Kevlar did not stop bullets, it stopped shrapnel. But trying to stab through that would be difficult. So wouldn't you want this thing razor sharp in order to slice an enemy or stab? Now, we thought it was a myth, but you were not allowed to sharpen these. Now, some of us did and got away with it, but most did not. However, with that said, this thing right here is probably about 45 or 50 years old, and it's been well taken care of. I got it for like $5, and you can't beat this. It's a piece of history, been guaranteed all over the world, may have been involved in some battles, and holding it, it feels exactly the same, and it feels right. I just wish that this was made into a knife. Now these next 2 knives are from the same knife maker, Tony Powers. You know him on Instagram and Facebook as Dirtbound. And I've shown this knife before, and I showed it in the previous video. That's the Bobcat by Tony Powers. The first time I used this knife, I actually fell in love with it. It fit my hand very well. It's the size blade and profile that I like. You have your drop point right here. It looks like an old school knife like back in the day, and it resembles like those old like hickory knives or like butcher knives, and it has a nice belly on it right here. We have a Scandi Vex grind that he does by hand. There's a lot of people peddling things around that you can't make knives uniform if you do it by hand. Well, these are pretty close, and looking at them trying to find something wrong with it, good luck. That's how precise he tries to make these. Usually individuals that make those comments are trying to shift the spotlight and derail and move from what is happening over here over to what they're doing, especially if they're selling knives also. Now, he uses micarta on his handles, and that's a good thing, and here's why. For years, I believed in wood only. However, wood has downsides. Sometimes wood cracks. Sometimes over a period of 20, 30, 40 years, it develops, if it's not glued properly, you can actually develop voids in there that water can get in there, it can rot. And someone's gonna say, well, no, if you take care of it. Well, most people that say that sit at home, they go out 2 or 3 times a year, they talk a big game from the basement or on the porch. They're not out there every single day doing something in the rain, in the snow, with that knife 7 days a week. They're not. So for them to say, well, I've had mine for 10 years, you've had it for 10 years, and you used it for about 2 months. So micarta will outlast wood, and I'll take that Pepsi challenge with anyone. You also have a lot more options with micarta, as in colors and different types of grain and how it looks, and overall how you sand it. You can make it smooth, you can make it shiny, etc., etc. There's very low maintenance on micarta, and to be honest, when you buy micarta in bulk, sometimes, well, most of the time, it's cheaper than wood. Now, I'm not knocking wood. I'm just giving you the benefits of micarta over wood. And no oil was applied to it like you do with wood. And putting it into the sheath, it's not sucking the shine or the oil off of it into the leather sheath like it does with wood. So I'll take this first time every time. Now back to this knife. I don't want to go in too much detail with the Bobcat because I've already shown this in a previous video. Check out that video. But the grinds are exactly the same on all his knives, the same thickness on all his knives. They're heat treated the same, and they do basically the exact same thing. They'll throw sparks like a champ. So on that note, I want to move away from the Bobcat and talk about the Camp Heart. Just by looking at that footage right there, you can see that this thing is a beast. Think of a standard Kephart knife. He took that idea, put it on steroids, and turned it into the power lifter of knives and called it the Camp Heart. It's more robust. It's got that wider blade on it. What I like the most, and I might be the only one that actually sees this, but that tip right there, if I were to make any divots in wood, say like for a bow drill, I can actually choke up on this, and that where my thumb is right here, that is actually the perfect size if I wanted to go ahead and make a divot for a bow drill spindle. So I can get my hands around this and actually choke up on it, get those fine carving tasks done if I want to. And looking at this handle right here, when you put your hands on it, it actually feels like it's gripping your skin. And I love this texture, and I love the style of this. It actually kind of resembles wood, but it's black. And one beautiful thing about micarta, in addition to everything else that we talked about, is sticking it into that leather sheath. When you have a wood handle, most of the time you pull it back out, and you see that it's dried in certain spots. That's because the leather is actually sucking that oil off that handle. You have to keep reapplying it, Go get beeswax, stick it on the inside. Why go through all that when you have enough things to worry about, especially if survival's real? I'm not going to be sitting there for 3 hours trying to do knife maintenance when I can just stick it away and it's done, right? So this is kind of a cool profile. I like it. I dig it. And this is one of several. He has several knives out, and my plan is every other week, get one of those knives, do a knife of the week, or incorporate it into my videos, get his name out there, These sell for like 120 to 130 bucks. So they're right up there with other knife makers. This also gives you a new company to look at. If you're tired of the same 5 or 6 knives being peddled around for over a decade, guess what? You got a new company with fresh ideas. And in my opinion, this is a work of art that is 100% functional as a tool. So his link will be in my video description box. Here's how you get these knives. Now listen closely because some will miss. He doesn't have a website. You go to his main Facebook page or Instagram and you message him. I would like a Bobcat. I would like a Camp Heart. And then he'll contact you and get your address and phone number, and you guys can talk price all day, all right? So once again, I'll put his link in my video description box. You click on it and send him a message. Once you get a knife from Tony Powers, you need a sheath for it. And there's one sheath maker that I highly recommend. His name is Justin Allen Sigmund. And I believe his Gmail address is bangbangbushcraft@gmail.com. I'll provide that link to his email as well as his Facebook page. He has no website, so you got to message him on Facebook or give him a direct message on his email, okay? And he'll get back to you. The sheaths that he makes have the rivets in them right here, like all the way down around. The copper rivet on the back for your loop. But in my opinion, what sets us apart is 2 things. One, drain hole. That's a must. In my opinion, with leather, you need to have a drain hole. It does 2 things. Keeps water from rusting your knife. And second, well, your knife's not sitting in a pool of water. And second, it's not going to warp the leather out by, again, a pool of water sitting inside here. A lot of people forget that, and they just don't care. To me, that's a big thing. It's a must. The second most important thing here is the loop is off-centered. It's like this. It's not straight up and down. I broke 2 or 3 of these just getting into my vehicle and driving around with a knife in here because it's sitting vertically like this and it bends away and it pops that rivet off the bottom. Being that it's angled back, it will sit like this. It sits forward. And in doing that, I haven't broken one of these. I own 2 of them. Now, they're very robust. You can wet form these as well, meaning soak it, get it wet, stick a knife in there and actually form the blade or the handles around that, where you actually can see the indentation all the way around and let it dry like that, or just leave it like it is. What makes it unique is all the knives that Tony Powers makes that I've shown you so far, even this fatty, will fit right inside there. And it's not going to fall out. I can swap that out with the Bobcat. It's not going to fall out. It doesn't even move. So either one of those knife styles fit this sheath, and I'll provide a link to his Facebook page and Gmail in the video description box. Check him out, Justin Allen Sigmund. And there you have it, my top knives of 2025, part 2. And you have a small glimpse or a look through a window of my personal life. That's why I'm selling these skillets, not only to get good gear out there at a cheap price. That's something that no YouTuber has done, and I'll take that Pepsi challenge any day of the week and twice on Sunday as well. No one has sit down and made skillets the way I'm doing it. Most go to China because they lack the ability to do it themselves. And so I'm producing these on my own. And just know that the bulk of the money is going to a better cause. And that's why I'm not doing a GoFundMe. Everything's being paid for, things being taken care of. I'm handling that. And those that want to help, if you're religious, say a prayer. But it's being taken care of, so I appreciate it. And also, along with the skillets, know that those 2, the folder and the cold handle skillet, are going to be discontinued in the next 2 weeks. I have confirmation that I'll have delivery of my items so that I can make a few more machines and the tooling that I need in order to get something else out. We're right on schedule with that. Every 3 to 4 months, we're dropping something new, and we got bigger and better things coming. Bigger and better things coming. So on that note, let's get out of here. With that, all the gear in my videos can be found at 2 places. 1, my Amazon affiliate page, and 2, my Etsy store. Both links are found inside my video description box. Now, please do me that favor. Hit that like and subscribe button, and then ring that notification bell. Once you ring that bell, please select all notifications. And as always, thank you for your comments, views, and support. Thanks for watching. Get out in the field and have some fun. I'm going to catch you next time.